Okay, so the difference between this and throwing a frisbee, back in the day when you used to throw the frisbee at the beach, you kind of like take it and curl it up and throw it like that. And well, this is a much different delivery than that. You pretty much want to throw that out the window, everything you learned about throwing a frisbee, because this is nothing like it. What they say is it's more like a lawnmower pull, like starting a lawnmower. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to reach back and you pull through, and then at the end you snap it. So it's a reach back, pull through, and snap it at the end. And that's how you get the best flight out of the disc. So driving is when you're throwing a full shot, and it's not about throwing it as far as you can. It's about throwing it with proper flight and letting the disc do what it's designed to do. So that's what you need to learn, and then you need to learn what disc you use for different shots, and it's all about shot making and execution. So you see a shot, you envision the shot, and you say, okay, I know what disc is going to work for that, and then you throw the shot and execute it as best you can. So one of the things that I try to remember through a round of golf is posture. Posture is really the most important thing, especially when you start to get tired. And I'm always talking about this with my daughter when I'm playing with her, is because she leans, and I do too. When I get tired, it's like, oh, that was an old man shot. But what happens is, what you're trying to do is put a straight level flight on the disc. And sometimes you'll vary it to, if you go against the rotation or the normal turn of the disc, it's called an anhyzer. And if you go with the normal turn of the disc, it's a hyzer. So it's, you come back and through. So back and through. A lot of people will start with a step up to their shot. They'll kind of come up like this and then throw like that. Personally, I developed something that actually I got from my daughter, kind of like a pitcher pitching from the stretch. I found that in rough terrain, it was actually worked better for me. I had more controlled shots, and I just basically plant my feet and turn one out a little bit, but I'll come back like this and then throw it through, and I get just as much distance as I ever did when I was throwing with a step. So there's people out there that do it that way. Not a whole lot of people that do it from the stretch like my daughter and I do, but I found that that's what works best for me. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw a drive here. I haven't warmed up or anything, but kind of give you an idea how a drive flight should go. The natural curve of my disc throwing left-handed is going to be from left to right. I'm actually a right-handed player, but I had to go to left hand. I injured a bicep a few years back, so I play left-handed now. I'll talk about that later. But if you're throwing right-handed, the natural curve of your disc is going to go from right to left. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a drive here, and hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. So since it's going to go left to right, you can see the basket straight away. I'm going to kind of aim for that big tree on the left over there is normally where I go, and then it should come back out to the middle. And that's a pretty good shot. Okay, I just wanted to show you this hole and kind of give you an idea, a little bit elaboration on the driving techniques. This hole here, if you look at it, if you could see it, The basket's on the other side of the water. So my disc is going to fly left to right. So I'm going to want to bring it out over the water and then bring it back at the basket. With that, I'm going to use a disc. It's a destroyer. We'll go into the numbers on the disc at a later date, but this particular disc is called overstable. So the overstable disc kicks really hard with your natural turn. So this will kick hard left to right, and I throw this disc to make sure that I keep it out of the water. And even that doesn't always work. So let's see if we could pull this shot off. Another thing I wanted to tell you about the posture. I was talking about the posture. If you think about it, if your posture is good and you're throwing the disc level, you're going to have a nice level release of the flight of the disc. If you're slouching at all, even a little bit, you think you're throwing it level, but you're going to, with your slouch, you're going to be releasing on an angle, which is going to kick your disc harder with the natural turn of the disc. So, okay, with that, let's see if I can pull this shot off. It's hot out here. Most of the time when I throw this shot, I end up right because it's hard telling your mind to throw it over the water because you naturally just want to think, avoid the water, don't go in the water. But you got to trust your shot and you got to trust what the disc is going to do. I'd say more often than not, I go right, but occasionally I'll hit a good shot over the water and land it close to the basket. And that's really what the shot requires. But most of the time, my mind can't get that and just wants to throw right. So let's see if I can do it. There it is. That's a pretty good shot there. Brought it over the water and landed it. I'll have a putt for a birdie. With that, DG Pops is out.